Hey, Wiseman, it's Karen Weir here, and we are doing another segment of Wiseman Ask Wise Questions. And we have brand new Wise member, Denise Myers, is here with us. And this is a really fun time, Denise, because you are coming in. Not only are you a coach, right, and you
Mhm.
work with women, but you're getting to know the Wise environment in time for our showcase. And so we're going to just talk a little bit about some wise questions that you, as a co-active coach, would talk to women about as they're gearing up for something like a Wise Woman Business Showcase. And then ask me a few questions. So first, Denise, would you tell us your business and who your ideal client that you work with is, kind of who you are?
Sure. Okay. Well, thank you, first of all, for allowing me to do this, Karen. I appreciate it. I'm really excited to be a part of the Wise Women group. My business is called YBR Coaching, which stands for Yellow Brick Road. And I think oftentimes we go looking for the answers and they're right inside of us. So I spend a lot of time, I coach women in business. My passion is to help women survive and make a really great living in business. Um, Currently, the numbers are just horrific. 2 out of 10 make it. So I think just being out there to help them understand how they show up versus their perception is key. And I take into consideration emotional intelligence. With that, I teach them when I'm coactive, it's more about working with them on solutions that are inside based. So no matter what skill set they have, um, they can utilize what they stand for, their value system, and how they always want to show up protecting, their value system. So I work with women that have really busy lives, so they have to decide where I spend time with my family versus where I spend time in the community with nonprofit and where I spend time with my business. I also work with women that are in leadership roles that are in a male-dominated area, helping them. That's how I grew up in the corporate world. So helping them with masculine, feminine energy and how they can interchange in between them and have much more successful relationships at home and at work or in the community. Once again, it's just, it's things that they're not quite aware of. So it's sort of that courageous conversations that I have, just making them more aware of how they show up. And so some of my questions about this showcase, which I'm excited that you do something like this, because for years I worked with individuals that worked with me on how they were going to show up at different places, whether it was we were supporting the community for a particular disease state, a career fair for that matter, how we were going to represent our company. And, as in a level of leadership, you always represented your company. Even if I was out to dinner with my family, I'd see customers that would come to me. And so it was always the name of my company across my forehead. So you had to always keep that in mind. And I think you want to make sure that, when you're showing up for business events, that you're always keeping your business in mind, right? Because so one of my questions that I ask that's critical is I want to make sure that I'm coaching that I'm a help to the person who's hiring me to be their coach. Now I know a lot of things about business, but I want to ask them some questions so that I don't assume they know me or what I'm about. So I might say, what do you already know about working with me? They might have heard from somebody about working with me. So I want to know what they know. And then I also want to know what they need help with. So I dig down a little bit further with that. And then I might say, what questions come to mind for you? So that I can constantly know that I've got the right person. If I don't, what's that gap? Is there a similar gap that I can give business to somebody else? People do business with people they know, like, and trust.
Yes.
And so you can have a logo, you can have a website, you can have pretty business cards, and all of that doesn't matter. I mean, a successful business is going to be on referrals
Hmm.
and how you show up. And so that's why I work so much with women on that. It's we typically don't work for people anymore as solopreneurs because we've had it. We've either had it with we want a schedule we can work with our family, right? We know that we have a certain idea in mind in business, but that also is to our detriment if we are not showing up the way we think we're showing up.
Well, and that's one
So,
of the things that you were sharing with me is the difference between perception and reality. And it
mhm.
sounds like you're really great at working with your clients on, having some of those hard conversations to let them know, hey, here's, how you think you're being perceived, but
Hmm.
here's the reality, and really working with them so they can have that clarity and understand how they're being perceived.
Right. And it doesn't matter what you think. I used to talk to my leaders all the time about that. I'd be like, oh, I'm a great communicator, da, 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 da. It doesn't matter what you think. What matters is what people around you think.
Yes,
And if you're talking twice as much as you're listening, there's a problem,
exactly.
right?
Well, and I love too the fact that when you decide how you want to show up, then you can go and ask, am I showing up this way?
Hmm.
When you just show up and it just is what it is, there's kind of, there's a disconnect there. And it sounds like you're really good at helping people understand where that disconnect might be
Hmm.
and helping them to not only get clear on how they want to show up, but then show them if they're kind of meeting that mark. Is that?
Yes, yeah. And, I spend a lot of time with consistency as well.
Oh,
Always being consistent, and that takes a good state of mind management. Nikki Roush taught me that as a sales coach. It doesn't matter what happens if you're late, you were caught in traffic, or you come into a meeting late. I mean, you don't want to show up like you're in a dither because you're late and so on. It's always taken that first couple of minutes to know that people are judging you in 10 different ways when you enter the room. And do you realize that this is going on consistently with you? So, yes, as you said, Karen, I have a lot of courageous conversations with people on things that they really are not very happy to hear. But that's what they hire me for, to help them show up the way um, to help them match how they should, match the mannerism, body language, and so on, and the words that they choose to use, their appearance, and everything, so that they match what they think they want to show up as. And that comes with working in a male-dominated world. Falling into women in stereotypical patterns. I worked with them. I worked with men all of my life. So I can help them show up in a boardroom, a chamber of commerce meeting, just help them identify limiting beliefs so that they show up the way they want to show up. So your um, showcase is so exciting. It's such an insight. It's a huge need in the solopreneur entrepreneurial world, um, to help train women on how to show up. I love it.
well, Denise, with you being brand new to the WISE community, I mean, your first exposure was the award ceremony.
Mm-hmm.
And now you're going to be one of the featured business owners at the showcase,
Mm-hmm.
and also somebody that women who are getting ready for the showcase can really lean into and learn from along the way, as we're gearing up for this. I want to ask you, what wise women questions might you have for me about the showcase that I can help answer with this last few minutes?
Well, I know that you said that it wasn't like a show where you go in and you put your stuff on display and you typically do your normal stuff. And so I'm curious, how do you feature with physical aesthetics? You know, what do you do to your booth to make it be different?
Well, the neat thing is we get clear, on
Mm-hmm.
how you want to show up. And that's the very first thing. And then what items do you have that can showcase that? It's okay to bring products or things that promote the service that you have. You just want to get clear first on how you want to show up and what it is about you that you want to showcase. Then
Okay.
you can bring the things that you would to a showcase or a vendor type event like this that really talk about who you are, not just the product that you would hold up in your hand and show somebody.
Right. So, for instance, something that just came to my mind was I help women in a male dominated world. So maybe I come up with a male head and a woman's head and half of the brain showing, because I talk a lot about how men compartmentalize and how women's brain is like spaghetti. So
Yes.
it gives me an opportunity to talk about what it is that I do different there on masculine and feminine energy and how to show up differently, knowing what you learn when you work with me.
Yeah,
Right?
and
Okay.
I love that because you're right there. You're setting yourself apart from, other people who are coaches, who are coaching women in business. You're saying, this is who I am, and what I really focus in on is I can help you in these areas.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just naturally who you are
Mm-hmm.
as a woman in your business. So that's a great example. Absolutely.
Well, and I can see how many would have a hard time narrowing this down. I mean, it was probably a year and a half for me of really getting a niche that, and I basically, Karen, I just said, okay, who's the top 5 people that I love working with?
Yes.
And what is it that I got to do with them? And who is the 5 that I could not tolerate working with? And what did I spend my time doing? And that's the stuff that I just said, I don't do this anymore.
Yes.
And so then that's allowed me to get my people, and that's how I want to spend my time working with my people. So the more niched I've become, the more I've become known as the courageous communicator, or, whatever people refer to me as. But it's been you don't get that overnight. So I love that you're spending some time training women on this.
Well, thank you. This is just the tip of the iceberg.
Mhm.
And when they see it played out at the showcase, then they can realize what a difference it makes.
Mm-hmm.
And when they go further, I'm really glad that you're in our community, because you will be somebody that they can lean into and learn a lot more of this from going
Mm-hmm.
on along the way. So, do you have any other questions that I can help answer?
Now, I understand you have some speakers. Is that during a separate time than the tables, or how does that work?
We do. We have a business breakout session, and this is the great thing, Denise. We don't want you to stay stuck at your table.
Mm-hmm.
We want all of the wise men who are there to showcase themselves, all of our guests, everybody who's volunteering, whatever it is that's going on. We want everybody to be able to go together and listen to these great 2 speakers. I'm not telling the speakers yet, though. That's later this week. So
I was gonna tell you just quickly. My tagline is a perception that makes you say what,
I love it.
and so I'm going to give you a different perception right now,
Yes.
since it's Valentine's Day tomorrow. My perception of your program is phenomenal. I'm really excited about the training that you've got going on. It's so unique and so insightful for women entrepreneurs. Karen, I just I left your program last November, and I know I don't even know if I told you, but I cried all the way home because my true belief is women building other women up in business is the way we have to handle things to be strong, big collaboration. So I love that you're doing this and giving the women the opportunity to really feel good in their shoes, in their businesses. So take my little glasses and say Happy Valentine's Day.
I love it. Thank you so much. Welcome officially to the Wise Women community. I'm so glad you're here.
Okay.
And I'm so glad that Wise Women are going to get a chance to get to know you more and more. So
Thanks, Karen. I'm
thank
looking
you.
forward to it.
All right. We'll see you at the business showcase on
Okay.
March
Can't wait.
9th.
Can't wait.
Take care.
Thanks. Bye-bye.